Welcome to ISE's Equity Index Weekly Outlook, a weekly outlook on ISE and other industry indexes, hosted by Patrick Ceresna, a derivative market specialist and investment manager with extensive expertise in options and the broader derivative markets. ISE trades options on more than 15 proprietary sector indexes, as well as broad-based indexes and a variety of licensed benchmarks. ISE continually enhances its trading systems and develops new index options products to provide investors with the best marketplace and investment tools to trade smarter.
Hello and welcome to the ISE Equity Index Outlook for September 7th, 2009. This is Patrick Ceresna. First off, I want to take a look at the S&P 500 using that SPDR exchange traded fund symbol SPY. And we got a rejection last week right off that 104 to 106 focal point. And one thing we were talking about last week was the fact that we felt that the market highs were going to come in somewhere within this zone between those two focal points. And we did get that rejection on this first go around, but I think it's a little too early to officially conclude that as a top just yet. We may be just going through a little pullback before we still get a few more thrusts up higher. So at this stage, we're not ready to call a market top anywhere here just yet. There is distinct losses of momentum. You can see that the market is being distributed here, but that doesn't mean that the market can't still make a few more pushes. If we had a legitimate breakdown below the 98 zone, and subsequently had a retesting down into those 94, 96 focal point down below. At that stage, we can start visiting the idea that some sort of a bigger picture top is forming here. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE US Regional Banks Index, which is the symbol JLO. We adjusted our focal point down to the 2021 area. Now that we've seen a reversal off that, the selling came in pretty hard on there, but there's no real technical damage just yet. It's going to be all about whether or not there can be a reversal off of this point. If the broader markets start moving higher and we don't see any participation back in these regional banks, then we could start looking at the idea that this may be a bigger picture double top forming in here. But if we do see some follow through and this get back up to the 20 area quickly, we can't rule out still one more breakout higher. But again, it'll be all about the follow through this week. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Syndex, which is a symbol SIN. This is an index of all the casino, tobacco, and distiller companies. And just a couple weeks ago, we had a print high of the 106.5 area intraday, and since then we pulled back and retested that 90 to 100 focal point. At this stage, we still believe that there is a room for this to make that one more push up into that 108 to 112 zone, where the measured target that we've been looking for all along. At this moment, the only way we would change that is if any break below the 98 to 100. At that point, we can call that a missed move. But at this stage, we still think that there's room for one more push up into this area, and we're going to be looking for that here. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Home Builders Index, which is a symbol RUF. We talked about that 11.5 level on the index last week, suggesting that that's a shortened move that could reject this. It did reverse off that 11.5 and came all the way back down to that 10 to 10.25 focal point. At this stage, we're going to now put that 11.5 focal point in there. At this stage, it is quite possible that we'll start a topping formation on the Home Builders Index somewhere in this zone. It will all again be about the follow through this week. If we can undo the damage last week did to the home builders by rallying back up into the 1125, 1150, we can revisit the idea of it moving and finishing that move up to the 12.5 area we talked about. But if we have no follow through on the upside here, it is possible that the home builders reverse off these levels, and any technical breaks below 10 open that window for deeper selling. Next here, I want to take a look at the ISE Natural Gas Index, the symbol FUM. And while natural gas as a commodity is making the all-time lows on the front month, we are seeing the natural gas index holding up. What's going to be particularly interesting is that if natural gas reverses from the downside, will these natural gas stocks use that as a springboard to actually launch higher? We're going to be watching that very closely. This may be just a little flagging formation in here. Any technical breaks above the 90-93 area, we are targeting a move up into the 100 to 110 zone for the measured move. And finally, when we take a look at the ISE Mini FTSE 100 Index, which is the symbol UKX, you can see that the UK market also is pulling back toward that 470, 480 focal point as support on the downside. It has finished its measure move higher, but again, we can't rule out still one or two more thrusts up into that zone for the topping formation up in there. So we'll see how this plays out. We're not outright bearish in any way yet, but if we continue to see a loss of momentum up as it pushes higher, then we'll be looking for the market top. That was your ISE Equity Index Outlook. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for participating in this week's session. Please join us again next week. For more information about Patrick Ceresna and to sign up for free index options trade alerts, visit www.optionsource.net. To learn more about ISE index options, visit us at www.ise.com/indexoptions.